Why are we here? What's life all about? Is God really real? Or is there some doubt? Tonight we're going to sort it all out. For tonight, it's the meaning of life.
It's not that deep, bro.
We should probably
Get onto it.
get around to talking about. So, for people, well, for everyone listening, because this is our first episode, this is called It's Not That Deep, Bro. And it's a podcast where my name's Jack, and I've got Martin opposite me.
That's me.
I'm pretty into films and my media, you know, my television and my music and all of that, and I look into it very deeply. Whereas Martin is on the other end of the spectrum, and he just watches
it.
Yeah, you just watch it surface level, and that's cool. And I feel like there's a middle ground to be met between both of our methods, and hopefully that's what we can find out from this podcast. So what I set Martin up to do was to watch the... Let me find what year.
1977.
Martin's on it. I got Martin to watch the 1977 David Lynch film Eraserhead, a film that I have a pretty deep connection with, and
I don't.
a lot of people consider it to be weird for the sake of being weird. Generally, a lot of people just don't get it.
Like, let me just say this. Like, what the actual fuck? Oh, God.
So whoa. So first impression. Tell me how you watched the film. Was it on a streaming website? How did you do it?
on a streaming
website. And did you watch it on your television?
Yeah, 55-inch
55-inch television. Nice, like dark room. Blacked out.
There's no light.
You did good. So you did
Headphones in.
Headphones on. That's
Headphones on.
Crazy move. So
And I just kept...
describe your experience for me.
What was that whole sound, the whole movie? Like, it was wind hitting... wind just hitting the mic the whole time. I'm like... Who is putting a fan on the fucking...
We've lost video again.
We've lost video again, boys and girls.
This is sad shit. What am I going to do?
That's what I fucking told you. I should bring my mom's fucking... camera. Because obviously yours is having a bit of trouble here.
It seems to be getting quite hot.
Is it the precision is that?
No, I think it just might be the fact that this room's not very well insulated, but hey, we carry on.
We'll carry on.
So yeah, the wind.
The wind, yeah. I don't who put a fan next to the mic. I was like, yeah, this sounds alright. Let me keep this on. I get the tension, the tension when it was like when he kept staring at the radiator and there was tension, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is cool. But you just still hear that wind, like it's raining and windy outside the whole film.
That's so interesting that you we'll get to it at some point, but that's interesting that you mentioned the wind.
Yeah. Another thing, what's with every single plant in his house being out of a pot? Every single plant in his house, out of a pot, not in a pot. He's just got fucking... what's the name?
Soil
on top of a desk with a plant.
So that got to you.
I just got to me, I got the weird bit about the baby, but how did the baby get there? Is what gets me,
And what did you make of the parents scene when they're having the family meal?
Yeah, when she's that chicken is just spearing out with blood, and then she's there let me have I'm coming, and then she just runs out, and I'm like, what the fuck? What?
Did it scare you at all?
No.
Not at all?
No, it just made me... There was one bit that's shook me up, but that was because I was looking at my phone at the time.
Ooh.
And I got a message, and I looked at my phone for literally 5 seconds, and it was when he was testing the temperature of the baby.
Oh yeah.
And then he took it out, and it was like, oh, okay, seems fine. I looked at my phone for literally a second, and then he looked away as well, and then all of a sudden he just fucking went back, and he's just this manky ass fucking fish baby with loads of spots around it.
Yeah,
And
I should probably mention at this point that major spoilers for Eraserhead for no one that's seen it. You've had like 50 years. I just thought I'd let everyone know because we're like ripping the film apart.
It's fucking 1977. If you still haven't watched this film, then I mean, there's no hope.
Yeah.
But just massive baby head, not massive, but like there's a baby head with fucking a fish on it, and he's got like manky ass eyes, like mouth.
You know, they don't know. Still to this day, he's never said how that baby was made.
Really?
There's
It's weird. It's
a lot of different rumours about it.
It's weird because it's like, for its time, that's quite high.
Oh, it's fucked up, isn't it? Like, it's real. Like, it gets you. Like,
yeah,
you see it and you're like, oh.
Like, what?
The thing about his films, they make me feel a sense of, it's not scared. Like, that's not what I am. It's like uncomfortable.
Yeah, like.
There's like a sense of uncomfortableness that I don't really get in many other films. And the fact that it can make me feel something that no other film can is pretty like, ooh, this is special, like, sort of thing. But yeah, carry on.
What does it mean when he's like, oh, I'm on holiday? What does that mean? That he's not got a job, or he's got a job and he's just on holiday? Because it's in America, and Americans don't say holiday; they say vacation.
Oh, that's very true. And they say holiday about like Christmas. Christmas is a holiday.
That's the Christmas holiday.
Yeah.
They don't say, oh, I'm going on Christmas vacation as much. They just say Christmas holiday.
The holidays are coming.
Yeah, the holidays are coming. They'll always say I'm going on vacation, never on holiday. So what does it mean when it's like, oh, I'm on holiday, and then the woman's like, well, you're on holiday, so you can take care of him, but then she leaves and never comes back.
What about the bit where he falls into the bed? He falls like through the bed at one point. He's like in the bed and he like the bottom of the bed like falls through and he lands in like some big thing of water, doesn't he? Maybe. I've not seen it in a few months. I know he definitely falls through the bed at one point and he's like in some weird place once he falls through the bed.
Yeah.
And then the song at the end in the radiator.
Oh, the
woman with the face. The
yeah.
weird.
What is wrong with her face?
I don't know. Oh, we've lost it
Again.
Oh, it's crushing. Anyway, so are there any other scenes that like stood out to you?
Yeah. The fucking that scene when that woman goes into his house is like, oh, can I sleep here?
Yeah.
And then they just fucking, and then she's looking over like, what the fuck? Like, what?
Yeah.
Why is there a fucking fish there?
Weird baby.
Yeah, weird. Like another. Oh, there's loads of scenes that fuck me up right now. There's fucking loads. What was up with his head popping off his fucking shit, coming out with a fucking baby, and then that kid picking it up, taking it to some place, and then making fucking rubber out of his brain. What?
Eraserhead. That's the name of the film.
I know what the film is, but like, does that mean that his brain is got fucking like? What? And then the guy's like, yeah, kid, you done good. He found a head and he's done good and gives him money for it.
He did good.
That makes no fucking sense.
No, I'm gonna try and answer some of these questions. I just want you to get your full experience out so we can see.
Again, what's this shit that she was stepping on?
Stepping on?
You know when she was dancing and not saying anything? The woman with the weird fucking face. And she stepped
Is she stepping in something?
Yeah, she stepped on something that was like white. Like, whoa. When she stepped on it, it like came out with like some white pus or whatever. And it was like these. It's like a mushroom, basically. Looked like a mushroom with a long ass fucking stem.
Yeah.
And it just looks weird and slimy and all this crap. And I was like, what the fuck? And then she's just like, what did she sing? Everything everything in heaven
is gonna be okay, or something like
yeah,
that.
something like that.
Yeah. So if you had to say what this movie was about,
Yeah.
what would you say? If someone asked you.
A guy losing his mind? I don't fucking... Like, literally losing his mind. He's going crazy. And he did something, and now he's fucked.
Okay.
Absolutely fucked.
It's in, like, you've got a lot more from it than I thought you would. Like, there's people that watch this film and they literally, like, can't watch more than, like, 20 minutes of it. And they're like, this makes no sense. And it angers me that it makes no sense. It's not answering any of the questions I have in my head and stuff like that. And they just can't deal with it, sort of thing. So I'm pretty impressed because you've...
One more scene.
Okay.
One more scene. Where, near the end... Where... No, a couple more things. I just gotta get them off my chest.
Yeah, definitely. We need to hear your experience before we go into it.
When the fucking he's in his room, something's happening. Oh, what was happening? Where the baby starts laughing at him. It's like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. And I'm like, why is the baby laughing? And then he's just there like staring at him. And then he gets a fucking... That's when the everything in heaven will be okay thing happens.
Yeah.
And then he comes back, and then he fucking cuts through the baby's like thread, and you can see his whole body.
Yeah, I remember that bit.
And I'm like, how is he alive? How is the thread holding him together?
Yeah, it's does he kill the baby?
Yeah, he kills, like, he stabs it.
He ends up killing it, yeah.
He sees his heart, and then fucking, obviously he's using scissors, and he sees his heart, and he goes and chops it.
Yeah, I remember, it was painful.
And then all this fucking white shit all comes out, the whole body, and then it's just a baby's head teleporting in massive head, just teleporting fucking bits to bits. I'm like, I'm done with this film. I can't, like, literally last 20 minutes I was like, I can't wait for it to be over. I watched it because I know you wanted me to watch it fully, and I will watch it fully, but after that I was like, I just want it to be over.
But just think, already, Martin, video. We went to see Daddy's Home 2. You remember?
Yeah.
And we've not really spoke about that film since we watched it. There wasn't really a lot to, like, go back and, like, talk about. We've been talking about this film for, like, half an hour already, and you ain't even finished yet with your, like, Yeah,
but, like, the thing is, like, it's not the films that I will, like, it doesn't connect to, like, Daddy's Home 2 will not connect to me in any way.
Yeah.
I'm not a daddy. I'm not gonna be, like... connecting to, like, these person or my dad or whatever is not gonna happen. If a film connects to me, yeah, like whether it's a film I like or whether it's a film I don't like, if it connects to me, I can talk about that film for the same period as it. Like here, Daddy's Home 2, or let's say one of my most favorite films, Pacific Rim.
We need to talk about that.
Like, it's not relatable to me at all. So I'm not gonna be like, well, I'm gonna talk about it for ages. Even though I like it. I like the way it was, like the way the story in it, the way it was made.
So you seem to enjoy Pacific Rim from like a consumer standpoint. Like it takes you somewhere. It plays. It gets your imagination going.
Yeah,
it's like a
games.
good bit of that, but it's not something. See, I when I digest my media, I like it to like have an effect on me. Like if it doesn't challenge me, if it doesn't raise any questions in my brain, then it's a fucking, like, it's a waste in my opinion. Why would I want to watch a film that I only watch once? That seems like bad value for money.
But that's the thing with films anyway. For me, I hate watching a film more than once.
But I'm gonna
even if it's something I've enjoyed, for like Pacific Rim, like I will. Watching it twice will bore me.
Pacific Rim's meant to be very close to Evangelion in terms of what it's about. Getting in a big robot and trying to save the fucking world. Like apparently.
And the way that the mental states, because obviously you get two people, and then they both need to be not psychically linked, but like they both need to be mentally
in sync with one another.
In sync with one another.
Like,
and if you don't, what would happen is one of you will go into a shock state and the other one will feel the pain from the robot.
This is why you need to see Evangelion. That is the concept, and it was doing it 15 years before Pacific Rim.
I get it. But like, again, it's not something I would watch again. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I would enjoy it, but I won't be like, oh, well, let me talk about it loads.
So I'm going to try and maybe give you a few reasons why Eraserhead might be worth going back to. And this is what I love about... I wasn't always like this, but I'm only like interested in pieces... I want to watch a film and not understand what the fuck it was about. Then I'll go in for like a second viewing, and a third viewing, and a fourth. And by the time I've seen it like 5 times, on the 5th viewing, it still showed me something new, probably. But I have a completely different view of it than when I watched it for the first time. Like,
I get what you mean. Like in films where you're like, what the fuck just happened here? Like Eraserhead. What the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
You'll read about it, and then you'll be like, oh, is that what that is?
That's what that's about. That is? You can go back.
And then you go back and you're like, you see that same scene and you're like, oh, okay, cool.
You can see it.
But to me, that would be defeating the object of watching a film and not knowing what it's about. Like not knowing what it's about and then finding out in the film what it's about, or after the film by reading it what it's about. That is like, oh, I get it now. That's what that happened. That's what this happened. But then going back and watching it, just like, well, I already know why that happens. I already know why this happens.
It's not so much about why did this happen and why did that happen for me. It's more about what I'll do is I'll watch a film, and if it's a film like Daddy's Home 2, then I definitely don't need to ever watch it again because I fully understood that film. And there's loads of films in that bracket.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make it a bad film. It just means I'm not going to go and like
watch it again
or read about it or anything like that. But if a film,
you know what's happening.
If there's a film where I leave the cinema and I'm confused, then what I'll do is I'll go read not what the filmmaker made it about. I'll go read what other people thought it was about it. And I know that they're not right. They might be like right, and they might, but I don't look at them as like, oh, that's what this film's about because that person said that. I'm just like, oh, he thought that, she thought this, he thought that, and I'll kind of get an impression for what the general public's kind of vibe of this film is.
Yeah.
Then I'll probably go watch it again. Then I'll start looking into the guy who made it or the person that made it and get into where they were at in their life, sort of thing. And you start to see a bit more of why the film came out in the way that it did. So you probably completely agree with this, that there's like numerous bits in Eraserhead where you're kind of like angry that it's happening. Like you're like, why is this happening like this? It's frustrating. It's not telling me anything. Like I don't know what's going on. I feel lost, sort of thing. And they think that it's like shit filmmaking.
No, that's not it. No.
I know for a fact that David Lynch wants you to feel exactly how that film made you feel, sort of thing. Because Eraserhead is about being a young man and the fears and responsibilities that come with being a young man that's just coming into his like early 20s sort of thing.
And having a child.
And the anxieties that surround that. So David Lynch, as a man, obviously he's quite old at this point. He's like
73.
Yeah, he's 73. And you've been doing your research.
Yeah.
And
The guy looks so much. It's like you want to dress like him, the main actor. It's like you literally
Right.
want to be that
right,
person.
you don't understand. When I went to college,
Yeah.
one of the techs there, the like, who you'd go and if you needed like a cable for recording or something like that, you'd go to this office and hire it out. It was called Brett. And you know my hair used to be a lot bigger than this. He'd just call me Eraserhead. I didn't know who David Lynch was. I didn't know what the fucking film was. And I just thought this dude was weird as fuck. I was like, why the fuck are you calling me
And then
that?
you watch it and you're like,
And it wasn't...
I get it.
2-3 years later, I watched the film and I was like, I do look like that guy, and I do act like that guy.
Yeah, 100. It's like you're that guy.
So,
in
I didn't mean to do that.
No,
like,
of course
completely
not.
not. So,
and the way like you know when the mother was like, did you have sexual intercourse?
Yeah.
And he was like so scared. I feel like that's how you would be in that situation. And then she's trying to kiss you, and you're like, what the fuck?
there's
is
kind of
happening?
like that dinner scene. It's very interesting the way that it, because the way David Lynch works is he has a firm belief that behind the reality that we see is a darker world. There's like and this is a concept that comes up in like psychology and philosophy, the idea that there's like a shadow version of you and like a shadow version of everything going on in this world, and there's like a darker side to things. So it's kind of like when you see something that you don't like I can say I have a fear of needles. So when I see needles, in my head I'm seeing all sorts of like irrational shit that's not like really. A boy called Brogan is about to enter the room. I can feel him like slowly entering the room. It's fine, you can come in. There's just like all sorts of recording equipment going. That's fine, come in.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'll be seeing like all sorts of like irrational images in my head like that.
You don't need to see that.
I don't need to see them. I don't like want to see them. I don't
It's just
put
like
them there.
they just.
It just
appear.
happens like that.
Yeah.
But I would hazard a guess that that's like where Lynch pulls a lot of his like ideas from. Things like that, irrational. So that meeting between the mum and the dad for the first time, and he's got their daughter pregnant. Like the mum wanting to kiss him and things like that. Like if you go and meet a girlfriend's mum, she's going to be like making an assessment of you. Like, is he good enough for my daughter, sort of thing. And then she'll probably compare you against the man that she married. And if you're a good fit, there'll probably be some like attraction there, like sort of thing. So Lynch just shows that first. He doesn't show the normal reality of it. He'll show like the deeper psychological bit of it, of her being like, oh, I want to fuck you and stuff like that, even though that's like buried deep down in her brain if you were watching it in a real situation. So that's Lynch's whole shtick. That's why the film is like weird in the way that it is, because he's showing like the deepest parts of someone's mind, and that's what he'll show first.
But what's wrong with you know, at the start when when he first goes there, and he's like, "Oh, you're late," she says that, and then she's like, "Oh, I didn't know if you wanted me to come," and he goes in, and they're sitting on the sofa here, and then the mum's there, and then all of a sudden the girl starts having like a panic attack or a fit, and then she just combs her hair, and then it's over.
Yeah, so that is showing like the quick emotion that might, you know, a girl showing a boy to her family, like she probably is like having a panic attack inside, but if you were to actually be in that situation, you know, you'd all be shaking hands and you'd have a nice meal and shit like that. But the girl probably is like freaking out like that. But Lynch will just show that first, sort of thing.
Because when they were having like the dinner, and then she like the mum had a fit. Then after that, and then went out, and then the dad was like, "Oh yeah, she'll be alright."
And then the dad as well, because the dad's like summing him up, isn't he? He's like looking at him like.
But like he doesn't look at him like that. He looks at him and he just smiles for about fucking 10 minutes. It's like
the big grin, yeah.
Yeah, and then they have the conversation where they start kissing. Oh, well, it's like, oh, did you have sexual intercourse with my daughter? And then the woman goes back through the kitchen, and the dad's like, "This dinner's getting awfully cold," and he's just sitting in the same chair, not doing anything, and then she goes out to the kitchen, doesn't say anything to him, and the grandma or whoever that is there, and I'm like, she's not even moving. She goes around and moves the salad for her, puts the arms. I'm like,
yeah. So Lynch is really just that. It's like just a completely normal dinner between like a boyfriend meeting his girlfriend's family for the first time. But that's what's going on in Lynch's head in that situation. So then, obviously, getting a girl pregnant, that comes with like its responsibilities. Like you're a young man, you got to like look after the baby, you got to feed the baby and stuff like that. So again, those feelings of like anxiousness like lie in your brain normally, but Lynch is like showing them like, upright. So that's why that room you brought up the soil thing, the plants not being in pots and shit like that. That's like, to me, what I got from that was that the unorganized kind of
what's happening in your head right now?
in your head, like when you're at that young age, everything's like quite unorganized sort of thing. You don't have like a solid house. So
something's growing, but it's not like concrete.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that sort of thing. And all like the noises the baby makes, and it's all connecting to that kind of anxiety of having a responsibility, of having to look after other people and stuff like that, and maybe not being able to meet those expectations.
What's with that other guy then?
Which other guy?
The guy who's got like, you know how the baby has all them spots and shit?
Yeah.
There's that other guy who's like, at the start, pulls a lever, doesn't he?
Oh shit, right. I do kind of know what's going on with that.
And then all of a sudden you see him like, at the end, where he's like, he's sort of like sharpening a blade, and he's just trying to like lick the fire that's coming out of it. You get what I mean? And I'm like,
that is a part of that film, Martin, where I share the what the fuck bit with you. I know it. That man who pulls the lever is meant to be on the moon.
What?
That is meant to be the moon at the beginning.
The moon?
Yeah, the moon. And I know...
So wait, that rock is the moon?
That rock is the moon.
But then the moon opens.
Yeah, the moon does open.
What? Right.
You'll see that happening in Evangelion as well. And the moon opening is like an idea that's in a lot of old books. A lot of old religious like books and shit like that. Like the moon being like a satellite, or the moon being like a ship, or the moon like having something inside of it. Like it... And as you watch maybe more David Lynch stuff, the man is very like spiritual. But this is where we get into this side of things. He wasn't spiritual until this film. He was like apparently quite angry. This was the first film he ever made. It took him 5 years to make. Long fucking time. And he'd made short films before, but this was his first big film. And there's a shot actually where he's in his hallway, Eraserhead, and he walks into his room, and those two scenes, those two shots, just one in the hallway, one in his room, they were shot
at the start.
It might be at the... I feel like it's like 3/4 of the way through the film though. He's like out in the hallway, and there's that woman who lives over the opposite side from him, and he's like in the hallway, and he's been looking through her door, I think, and then he goes back to his door and walks back into his room. Those two shots were filmed like 2 years apart.
There's a scene where, the first scene where he walks into his room and the woman walks out and says, "Oh, are you Henry?"
Henry, yeah.
Are you? It says, "Oh, are you Henry?" And then he's like, "Yes, I am." Oh, I don't know her name. I forgot her name.
I can't remember, but yeah, those...
She goes, "Oh, yeah, she's asking you for dinner at her parents' house," or something like that. I remember that. And then there's another bit where he's in his room, opens the door, and he's staring at the woman across the...
I think it's that bit.
What? He's staring at the woman across
the hall.
Yeah, but she's with...
Someone else.
Someone else.
Yeah, I think it's that scene.
And then she sees him, but with a fish head.
Yeah. and he goes back into the room.
Yeah, and he shuts the door. Yeah.
I think it's the shot of him looking out the door and the shot of him closing the door and coming back into the room were filmed 2 years apart, Martin. That's like me hitting you up and filming that shit for coming up on Croft Hill and then leaving it 2 years and being like, we need to go back to Croft Hill and just like touch things up. It's crazy, like,
yeah,
and he said that he didn't have like the money, so he'd film stuff as he got the money, sort of thing, though.
Yeah.
Which is a very similar situation
Yeah,
to the
what
one
we're doing
we're
now,
in.
yeah.
So it's, I get a lot from that film because
I wonder where he filmed it though.
it was in, it was where he it's where he fucking moved to after moving away from his hometown. I want to say like, I'm going to get it wrong. I want to say like Minneapolis in America, but it's a town in America somewhere where it's like quite industrial. You can see it all. But he apparently he like couldn't control his emotion very well before making this film. He like was quite angry all the time and had like a general unhappiness, and he was quite anxious and wouldn't sleep and stuff like that. And he found meditation, and the scene with the radiator at the end, that was the last scene to be written for the whole film, and he wrote it after discovering
Which bit?
where she's singing with the face.
That's not the last bit.
Oh, it's near the end of the film though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's halfway through. Because like, there's you go through. He goes through the radiator. That's when he falls through the
Through the bed.
the bed, but
Yeah.
it doesn't go to like a wet place. He goes to the stage.
The stage, yes, he's in.
He goes to the stage, and then that's when like the woman suddenly leaves, and then there's this massive fucking chair or something that, like a wheelchair that just whirls out,
I
and he
remember.
goes behind this pipe, and he just fucking comes out. He just fucking comes out. Nice one.
That's Brogan's musical contribution for the, for the episode.
And then obviously his head just pops off, and then just fucking you see that he's a fish. Or
So that bit of the film, everything like post Radiator, is what he came up with after he discovered meditation, and everything before that is kind of like
anger.
the angry kind of anxious life that he was living, sort of thing. Like all that shit at the parents' house, that's like the anxious.
If you see recent pictures of him,
Yeah.
you see that he looks like the guy.
In Eraser.
In Eraser.
Yeah, he does. He very much does. And
He's fucking weird. I was like, because I saw it and I was like, I went to look at like the cast. First, I looked up David Lynch.
Yeah.
Right. And then I saw him. I was like, fuck, he looks like exactly like the guy. So I thought maybe he played
played
Henry
him. Yeah.
as his own film, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I went on Eraserhead. I looked at cast, and it's somebody
Jack
else.
Nance.
Yeah, Jack.
The
Nance.
guy Jack Nance is in like a lot of David Lynch films, and they had a very close relationship, sort of thing. Him and Jack Nance, like they're good friends. And
I wonder where the other people were.
the other people, they're all friends. They're all just friends and shit like that. Which is why, again, it's like quite a cool film to be watching at this point because we're at that point.
Yeah, we're
sort
at
of
that
thing.
point.
So, what was I gonna say? Fucking. So you've got the two sides of the film, and Lynch says that Eraserhead is like his most spiritual film, sort of thing, which is a crazy statement when you watch the rest of Lynch's films. Because
Okay.
arguably this one is like, it's pretty hard to digest, but there's Lynch films out there that are a lot more fucked up than this, Martin. That's what I'll say. Like,
I got what other ones?
there's the last film he made. He's not made a film in over 10 years. He's made television shows, but he's not made a film since 2006. And that film, the last film he made, Inland Empire, I watched that with Todd recently. It's 3 hours long, and it's fucking...
Is it a horror?
A little bit. But it's not like... There's no jump scare... What? It's not a horror like fucking The Babadook or The Conjuring or Sinister. There's nothing like any of those films. It's about an actress that has been given a role in a film, and the film that she's being given a role in is based on an old Polish film but the film is cursed. Like, the film, people died when they tried to make it in Poland, and now they're trying to remake it in America, and it's kind of about that. But that is, like, all I could give you in terms of plot, and you'd never fucking really... Well, yeah, you kind of know the film was about that from watching it, but it...
You'll never, like, properly understand it.
I'd say it's a lot harder to digest than Eraserhead, probably. But then there's also David Lynch films that are a lot easier to digest than Eraserhead. He's got a film called The Straight Story, and it's his only film that's like a PG. It was put out by Disney. I've not actually seen it, but apparently it's The Straight Story. It's about a man that rides a lawnmower.
We should watch it.
He has a happy life. Yeah, we'll watch The Straight Story at some point. But there's just other David Lynch films that are more kind of...
And I'm not into horrors, alright? So, like, if you're, like, thinking of giving me suggestions...
Well, I don't
films,
like horrors. If you can handle Eraser, you wouldn't consider Eraserhead a horror. Or you didn't mind watching it.
No, because it was like 1977. There's no real like any sort of special effects in there. Do you know what I mean? Like, except for that the baby head.
For me,
it's more the fact like I just as a person would not watch horror films.
but would you watch a film that isn't a horror film that has a scary bit in it? You understand what I'm saying? There can be films that are like really happy films, but there's a bit in it that makes you jump.
Like what? Like
So-
name a film.
This is like such a bad example right here, but did you ever watch the film A Series of Unfortunate Events?
It's on Netflix. No.
That's the new version, but that film came out like 10 years ago doing it. And there's a bit where they're in a... That obviously, that isn't like it's a kid's film, but there's a bit where they're in a room full of snakes that stays in my mind to this day, because it was like... They're really scary, but it just made me jump, and like... They're looking at all these snakes, and one of them like jumps at the camera sort of thing. That's the only time like in the film that something like that happens, and the rest of the film is about something completely different that isn't like horror related.
Probably not. No, I've not probably not seen it. No, nothing like that.
But I feel like there were bits in Eraserhead that weren't very nice.
No,
Like,
that's what I mean. So that's why I'm like.
You put that in like the horror bracket, like that. I wouldn't watch that scary sort of thing.
Yeah, like it'll get to like my dreams, and I'll be like, no.
But you gotta control your dreams, Martin. That's the thing.
Control. Well,
I
you
have
can't
these
control-
lucid dreams where I can't feel a thing. He's controlling his dreams. You can do it.
No, those are lucid dreams.
Lucid-
Nightmares are different to dreams. That's what they're called, nightmares.
I think they also call them bad dreams, which puts them then in the same bracket as good dreams. A nightmare is just a dramatic word.
They've made a word for pretty much.
You're one of those
everything.
people.
What?
Nothing a man can make on a computer out of ones and zeros and special effects could scare me. Because I know it's ones and zeros, it don't exist, it came out of some bloke's head, and I'm in a movie.
How the fuck do you know?
Because I've done quite a bit of fucking reading into the fucked up shit that is going on this planet.
Yeah, I get it. But like,
So once you know about like child trafficking and like mass child rape and stuff like that, big bad wolf around the corner made of ones and zeros, it doesn't become so scary anymore. It's like, oh, this is just like entertainment. This is just some shit somebody made.
yeah, but if you're into the shit that we talk about all the time, where dreams are different dimensions that we look into, then how do you know that nightmares aren't in different dimensions that could travel here?
Right, Martin, I can fully answer what you're saying right now.
Okay.
A man
Yeah.
called Carl Jung
Okay.
in the 1800s came up with, I might be wrong about the 1800s, but it might be 1900s. He has an idea that there's this thing in the human brain called archetypes. So you know how like people are born with an irrational fear of spiders, like they're born with a fear of spiders, like instantly. And I'm pretty sure I was born with a fear of needles, and it's like an irrational fear.
Okay.
So we can kind of say that people attach an image to an emotion in their brain irrationally. sort of thing. So what Jung was trying to say is that the mind works on like a symbol basis. Like the mind's language is symbols. So fear can appear in your dream as anything that you are scared of in the real world. And that's why you're scared of these films, because there's a fear, and you will watch a film and that fear will then take form like that in your dream. But what Jung is saying is that you should look at the emotion, not what it is in the dream, sort of thing. And that fear could show itself as anything to you. And it's the same kind of idea, people that see aliens. So what's the difference between someone 200 years ago that saw a demon, you know, like, because about 200 years ago, people weren't talking about aliens, they were talking about demons and angels and stuff like that.
Because there's technology. Like, you saw, like 200 years ago, if you saw something, let's say before the first play was ever made, yeah? You saw something that was flying that was not a bird or God made or like.
If you saw something
that was not meant to be flying,
yeah,
that would be a demon.
Well, you call it like a god or a demon 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Now you'd be like little green men, alien, which
yeah.
is still not the case. So what we can say from that is that over the years, there's this thing, and we keep calling it different things.
Okay.
And it's the same for like fear, and it's the same for like every single emotion. Like in your dream, you can have many different dreams that make you feel the same kind of joy. But each of those dreams are different. And that's just simply because different images and symbols have been presented to you.
Yeah, but you wouldn't do something that would scare you.
What, in real life?
Yeah.
I actively go looking for shit that scares me these days.
So you actively go looking for needles to put in you.
In my life, I want to beat my needle phobia. Yeah, I do. I realise it as an irrational fear. Like, needles aren't great, and I still will fight that when you put it down on paper, go into a place that you've never been to let a person you've never met put a spiky object into your body full of a thing that you don't know what it is. That doesn't make sense to me on paper, and it probably never will. Like going to get an injection at the doctor's. So I've never met you, I don't know what's in there, and you're probably going to hurt me with that thing. So like... I'd like to like spend an hour with you and just find out like who you are and shit. And,
like that doesn't apply to like a film. I can't be like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this film, but before that, I want to meet the actors. I want to meet the director.
You can do some like research into it, and I
could do some research into it, but that's not the same as meeting a person and talking.
It's not quite the same, but I definitely.
You wouldn't go look before you go to the doctors. Be like, let me research what I'm gonna put in my body.
Right, Martin. Let
me research what I'm gonna put in my body. Research what type of needle they're gonna put in me.
Okay.
That type of person that is gonna be there. Who it is. Let me talk to them first. No, you won't.
Are you ready?
That. Go on.
Last time I went to the dentist, I had a root canal.
Okay.
Just here.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, the worst place for me about, like, the idea of getting an injection just there makes me want to lose my fucking shit.
Why?
Like, that is the worst place anywhere.
You
like,
see, this is the same shit as me with films that are scared.
So-
like, I would think in my head.
but an injection in my mouth? Because for some reason I can't see the needle.
You can't see it.
So it's kind of okay for me.
So if I can't see the film...
Wait, just listen to what I'm going to say.
Cool. All right.
So I have the needle, I have the root canal.
Yeah.
Not really that painful of unpleasant is what I call it, but I got through it.
Yeah.
Then I got to work,
Yeah.
and I was still numb in the face,
Okay, yeah.
and I was freaking out. And I just had to know what the fucking anaesthetic was. I had to know what they'd put in me.
Okay.
So I started Googling like dental anaesthetic and looking into it. Next thing I know, I'm like, oh, I'm on the floor. Like, what's going on? And I kind of like look around me and everything's changed. I was stood up a second ago. I've passed out. I've been reading about dental anaesthetic and needles, got so fucking freaked out by what I'm reading that I've passed out and landed on the bin at work. And I have shattered a fucking bin into thousands of pieces. My guy I work with, Alan, he's like, opens the door. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, No, not really. I've like completely fucked the bin. And I shouldn't have been reading about dental anaesthetic. But yes, I definitely do go and research what the
So
needle
then you
is.
pass out at your own fear.
And that pisses me off that I pass out. That's a weakness.
I get it. But you can't put someone else going, well, I want to get past my fear, but I won't. I'll put you in your fear.
No, I don't want to put you in your... You can do what the fuck you want, man. But just for me, it's like... That's a limitation in my life. Not that I
get it. And I feel the same way. I feel like that's a weakness.
Yeah.
And
so I'd want to try.
I can do it. I can do it.
You've watched.
Yeah, exactly. I can watch a film that is scary. I can. But I just don't want to then after that sleep. Do you get what I mean?
Oh, because like I understand what you're saying in that sense.
I love sleeping so much that can do it for many hours of the day. Going to watch a film that is gonna stop me from doing that is like watching a film that's gonna stop me from ever playing any games. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like watching a film. It's like having a needle put in you that's gonna stop you from doing music. Something you love to do. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's kind of like that. But what I would say is there's films that are made to fuck with your dreams, Martin. There's people out there that are making films that are like, we want to fucking terrify everyone in that cinema. We want to make sure they go home and don't sleep.
Yeah.
And their films...
And that's the shit that I don't want to see.
Yeah, their films, like classic horror films. But what I think is great about something like Eraserhead is that none of it is to pointlessly scare you. None of it. No. All of it has a reason. And that reason is actually really like simple. It's like a common thing that everyone feels sort of thing. So once you find that out, but surely all scariness has gone from the film because you're like, I understand what the image is trying to say now. It was only scary to me because it was unknown. Like I didn't know what it meant. And that kind of like scared me because of the way that it presented itself. But once you understand that it's like, oh, this is just trying to describe the anxieties of a young man, you can then look at the film and be like, yeah, I understand where he's coming from that point of view.
The way that, like, if I don't understand something, right, it's not that I'm like scared of. I don't understand a lot of science stuff. Doesn't mean I'm like scared of it. Do you get what I'm saying?
But when you're in when you're watching a film that is scaring you, I believe a lot of it is to do with the unknown. Like it's like I don't know what that is, and I don't know like if that's real in real life, and I don't know how that was made, and like I've never seen something like that before. It's all these unknown questions like that kind of put you unease.
Do you know what? Do you know why like stuff like child trafficking and like being killed and shit like that doesn't scare me? It's because it's like it happens all the time. Do you get what I mean? Like stuff that you watch on the TV that is meant to scare you, you only see that there. Do you get what I mean? Like if that was real on a normal everyday life, it wouldn't scare me because I'm like, it's a normal everyday life. This always happens.
I kind of see what you're saying. You're saying that there's so much fucked up shit in the real world that you become normalised to it. So the fantasy stuff is what generates real emotion within you.
Yeah.
And I do get that, but sometimes I'd say fucking 75% of the time it's just so cheaply fucking done in these horror films. Like the one
I don't see that though.
The one
like I don't look into that.
You don't even look at it. Like
we said at the start, I don't look into so much of what you do. I just do it as.
But once you kind of read that there's people out there that think that there's fucking interdimensional leeches sucking off your fucking energy and stuff, like once you start reading about that, you're like, I probably shouldn't be reading about this stuff. It's probably just going to give me more. It's going to make me overthink things more than I need to.
Yeah.
And if that is happening, then there's probably fuck all I can do about it. So I should probably like stop reading about this sort of thing.
That's why I don't read.
That's why I don't read.
That's why I don't read. Just keep it to myself.
But surely you can separate Eraserhead from films like Paranormal Activity and like The Babadook and shit
Yeah,
like that.
no. Yeah,
There's
I
more of an
understand, but
emotional thing going on. Yeah.
There's thrillers and then there's horrors. You know what I mean? Like thrillers, I don't seem to be like scared of them. Like,
We watched Pan's Labyrinth, and that like objectively has some scary moments. They're kind of like fairy tale scary, but like
yeah, like it's not like major.
and it has that bit with the dude. with
yeah,
fucking
the guy with the
eyes and
but
the hands and shit.
That he's not really like. It's not one of them things that like.
Because that's not real. That's like kind
No,
of fucked
no,
up.
that's not in that perspective. That guy's trying to help Pam go. Isn't the whole movie like Pam trying to get through to like heaven or
I think it's trying to. I can't quite remember. It's trying to bring that girl into like fantasy land or some shit and out of the
so like
boring real world.
it's helping. It's not like
I see what you mean.
killing you. It's not like trying to put you in a state where it just hunts you down 24/7. Imagine like I don't know if it's ever happened where like someone's died from a like while dreaming like in
Someone's
a dream.
died in a dream.
Yeah.
I don't think that has happened, and I don't think it's it's like some Nightmare on Elm Street shit. If you die in the dream, then you die in real life.
No,
or is that
no.
Inception or
The
something
Inception,
like that?
yeah.
But I'm glad that you can make the difference between like films that are scary for the sake of being scary and a film like Eraserhead that's trying to like say something, sort of thing. That's good that you can. What like label would you put on Eraserhead if you had to?
What do you mean?
Like, what genre would you say it is? A thriller or a...
No, I looked at it.
People call it a horror film. Typically, people like watch it on Halloween and shit, and they dress up as him. And
yeah, well,
they consider it a
it
horror.
says that the genres are horror and
Lynch would not call it a horror film, I'm sure.
well, when I looked at it, the genres of it says horror.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Other people have like labeled it a horror because of the way that it's made them feel, but Lynch sees it as like a spiritual film. Like it's his. It for him, I think it marks a turning point in his life where he finally he felt like he did at the beginning of Eraserhead, full of all these anxieties, and by the end of the film, he's like confident and can take his creative ideas and turn them into something real, sort of thing. That's the story of Eraserhead from like the filmmaker's perspective, sort of thing. And it's the same. I like it because it's same with fucking Evangelion. Like the main overall message is like, fuck all this anxiety that you've got. Take your ideas and make them real. Like actually go and do something in life. So overall. And that song, what she's saying in the song in the Radiator.
It's everything will be okay in heaven or something.
That's what, like, everything will be fine. There's like a positive force that comes through in that film. And that's all I'm really looking for in films these days. Anything with like a positive fucking...
I would call it mindfuck.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, like it's just, if that was a genre, it would just be a mindfuck genre. Like, like even watching like the OA, like when you watch a series compared to a film, like sometimes you'll watch the film and won't know what the fuck is happening, but like when you watch a series at the end of the season, you'll know.
Oh, it all comes together.
Yeah, but this series is like 2 seasons of what the fuck is happening. Like you have after the first season thinking. You have 10 questions. After the second season, you have 100 questions. Like, what? There's so much that you look into where you're like, am I still watching the same series I was watching 2 episodes ago? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it puts you in a place where they completely take away the main character, put in like completely random new characters, and you're like, what is happening here to 2 episodes ago? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you just keep hoping that it's gonna come together at some point.
Yeah, but
sometimes it never does.
It's 2 seasons already, and nothing makes fucking sense.
Oh, genuine! Like, there's some television shows and films that I've finished, and you're just waiting for this moment where it's all going to come together, and it never comes. And you're
like
like,
Lost.
oh.
Like, what the fuck was that? The whole
I've
Lost
met the
series.
dude who designed the monster for Lost. You know, the big black tornado
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
thing. I met that guy.
Did you?
Yeah, he was a bit of a prick.
Okay.
That's what I'll say. But Lost is meant to be bollocks anyway.
It's just weird.
It's meant to be really bad. So, I would highly recommend that everyone listening, if there's anyone listening, goes to mipltd.org and checks out our films that we're doing. There's going to be this podcast on there. Hopefully there's going to be music at some point and news and all sorts of different bits and bobs, so look out for that. I believe Martin's Instagram handle is Martin DeVerge.
That's me.
Come on, spell that last name.
DUVERGE.
And then I'm at Jack Emil Oland. Check out MIPLTD on Instagram, and hopefully we'll be doing like a lot more of these, and we can get a bit of
a week.
Yeah, once a week, get a bit of a thing going. Let us know if you enjoyed listening to this, and peace.